Your nervous system responds to what it learned to expect, not always to what's happening right now. I know that might sound a little strange, but stay with me, because once you understand this, something that may have confused you about yourself for a very long time may finally start to make sense. You may have done the work on yourself, maybe a lot of it, read some books, been in therapy, made different choices. You've worked hard to create a different life, and yet something in you still won't settle. The quiet makes you feel a little uneasy. Rest is sometimes uncomfortable. Peace feels temporary, like something you're waiting to lose. And you can't figure out why. Because from the outside, things may actually be okay. And that's what I want to talk about today. Because I think it's one of the least talked about parts of healing. Most people talk about what happens before the work or what happens after, but nobody talks about the middle, the place where you've done the work, but peace still feels like a warning, and rest feels like something you have to earn, where quiet doesn't feel peaceful yet. It feels suspicious. I want to share something from my own life with you, because it led to a realization that changed the way I understand healing. And it may help you connect some dots in your own life too. When I was a child, the way I stayed safe was to stay small. I learned early, don't ask questions, don't draw attention, be quiet, agreeable, invisible if you have to. That was how I protected myself. It wasn't a decision I made. My body figured it out. And honestly, it was smart because it worked. It kept me safe in a place where safe wasn't something I could depend on. If you were raised in an unsafe home, you learned early what you needed to do to feel safe. For some people, that meant becoming invisible. For others, it meant becoming helpful or agreeable or successful. All the details are different. The adaptation is the same. The body figures out what works. And the body, it remembers. What I didn't know then, and what took me years to understand, was that my nervous system was on high alert every single day, always scanning, watching, and waiting for something to shift. And because that was all it had ever known, it didn't know how to do anything else. Years later, my life, it looked completely different. The thing that had shaped those responses was gone, but my body was still running the same program. I couldn't relax. I couldn't get restful sleep. I'd wake up in the middle of the night with no reason I could name. I'd be sitting in a perfectly peaceful moment and feel this low hum of dread I couldn't explain, like something was coming, like I was already bracing for it. And if you've ever felt that way, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't always show up as trouble sleeping. Sometimes it's overthinking or people-pleasing or always waiting for something bad to happen. And sometimes it's sitting in a perfectly good moment and being unable to fully just relax into it. Part of you is already preparing for it to end. That's what confused me for so long. Nothing was wrong. Life was actually okay. But my body didn't know how to be okay with okay. And it wasn't until much later that I understood what was happening. My body, it wasn't broken. It was doing exactly what it had learned to do. It was protecting me long after I needed the protection. I had learned that calm, it wasn't always safe, and that quiet didn't always last. And that peace could disappear without warning. So it stayed alert, even during the good moments, because that's what had always kept me safe. And there's a name for this. It's hypervigilance. But honestly, whatever you call it, the experience is still the same. The body doesn't know how to be okay with okay. Here's what I want you to hear. If your early life taught you that things could change without warning, and that good never lasts, that good things had an expiration date, and your nervous system drew a very logical conclusion. It decided calm was not the time to relax. Calm was the time to pay attention. The quiet became the warning. Peace became the thing to watch. Because in your experience, peace didn't hold. That is not a personality problem. And that is not who you are. That is a nervous system that learned exactly what it was taught. And it has been faithfully running that program ever since. The problem isn't that it learned wrong. The problem is that nobody ever came back and gave it new information. Have you ever had a stretch where things were genuinely okay and you couldn't receive it? Where the house was quiet and something in you kept scanning anyway? Where a relationship was actually good and you spent most of it waiting for it to break? Or where your body wouldn't let you rest, even when there was nothing wrong or nothing to worry about? If that's familiar, your nervous system isn't broken. It's doing a job that may not be needed to be done anymore. And it hasn't learned that yet. So how does that change? Not through understanding alone. Yes, understanding matters, and it helps. But understanding doesn't automatically make the body feel safe. You can know exactly why you react the way you do, and you still react the same way, because the body doesn't change through explanation. It changes through experience, through repetition and evidence. Your nervous system needs evidence, not more insight or analysis, more evidence. Moments where the calm held. Moments where the quiet stayed quiet. And moments where okay actually meant okay. And nothing came along and took it away. Each one of those moments matters. Each one is a small deposit, a little more evidence, more trust, and more safety. And over time, the nervous system starts to believe it. I want to be honest with you, because I think this part gets skipped over a lot. This isn't always fast. It's not one breakthrough or one realization. And it's not one really good session. It's the body slowly connecting enough new experiences that it begins to trust what it's experiencing now, more than what it learned back then. Little by little, it learns that quiet can just be quiet, that rest is allowed, and that peace doesn't always disappear, that nothing terrible is waiting on the other side of calm. If you're in that middle right now, where calm still feels a little dangerous, or where rest still feels like something you haven't earned, you're not behind. Nothing has gone wrong. You are learning something your nervous system never got the chance to learn. And that learning may already be happening, even if you can't feel it yet. Every time you let yourself rest, even for a few minutes, and every time you let that quiet be quiet without immediately scanning for danger, and every time you stay in a peaceful moment, just a little longer than feels comfortable, you are giving your nervous system something it has been waiting for. Evidence that it's safe to settle, that calm is real. Evidence that the old rules may not apply here anymore. That is the work. And it doesn't always look dramatic. It doesn't feel like a breakthrough. Sometimes it feels like a slow exhale you didn't realize you'd been holding. And it's happening whether you can feel it yet or not. Your body, it already knows how to heal. It's just waiting for you to listen. Understanding is important, but healing happens when understanding becomes experience. That's what I've been building toward, and something is almost ready that I think will help you go deeper into that process. Subscribe and stay close. I'll share more very soon. See you next week.